Got some fuel lines here. I soldered together a fitting, then I found the flare fitting that goes in that carburetor. Anyway, long story. Got the fuel line ran properly. I started working on my transmission lines. I got them out here. I'm about ready to cut them. I got my welding rod there, and I tried to weld this inlet or outlet, whichever one it is. I wound up just melting the thing. Never did get it welded. So what I did, I just coated it all the way around with JB weld. I got enough weld on it to keep it from bending. I don't know if that JB weld will work or not. Hope it will. But anyway, now I can go in here and put up my flare fittings. And once I get that radiator on and mounted, then I can pour my transmission fluid in it and be one step closer. So I just have to mark my lines now and cut them. Hopefully I'm close enough. Well, they're in and mounted. Not the prettiest setup in the world, but good enough. And I can get my radiator hose in there. They're both good and tight, I think. Won't know until I start it. So now, I guess it's time to see if I can put some fluid in it. It's gonna move along here and put my tank in it so I can get some gas and start it. And I started cutting this stuff away from my springs, and they're touching my springs, and I'm already right at where I can't cut no more, and the edge of the body's right down there on the spring perch, are real close. Same thing on this one. And just noticing here that the rear end's like a ½ an inch from the spring perch bolt, so I got no travel here at all. And this was made, they bored a whole bunch of holes in it. You can see 4 bolts down in there. And it's on the lowest setting right now, so the body is as low as it can go. I thought about spacing the body and everything, and I'll wind up putting pressure on it and kinking my doors. I just don't want to do that. So before I put my tank in, I'm going to try to jack this frame up a little bit and just loosen those 4 bolts. There's no nuts on them. Looks like they're threaded into the holes. I don't see any threads in these. I don't know what they were doing. But anyway, that's the next thing I better do is crawl into there and see if I can at least get this loose. I could just re-engineer this whole thing. I'd rather not do that if I don't have to. But that's where I'm at now. Kind of dumb to try to put a tank in it and start it, and then have to take it all out and move the body again. So let's see what happens. I jacked it up a bit. Now I got a lot of room, about 3-4 inches there, 3 inches anyway. Any room here on both sides. So I loosened these bolts up. They came out pretty easy. So hopefully at this point, if I loosen them up, I can just drop that down and put them into the next set of holes. And maybe within an hour I can get this thing raised up. I sure hope so. We'll see in a minute. Well, I about run out of soup, but here we go again. Raise it up. Still only got about a ½ an inch there in the springs. But I'm clearing the, between the bolt and the rear end. But I got quite a bit of room here on the springs on both sides. Yeah, those bolts came out pretty easy. I raised it up, I don't know, 1.5 inches. It's got some spring in it now. Now I know what to do to raise it some more. That wasn't that bad. They didn't use any grade 8 bolts in it at all. It was just old cheap steel bolts. So I got one good grade 8 in it, a couple of the bad ones, but I'll put the rest grade 8 in it. But it looks a lot better. It's set up another 1.5 inches or so, gave it a little more attitude. At least it's good enough to drive now and put the tank and some weight and stuff in it. So another step. Got my front lines done, and now I think I can put in the tank and run some gas tomorrow. Moving on here. I think the last video was about this plate down in here. Anyway, I got some grade 8 bolts in it. It's pretty good. I mounted this tank in here. I got it level. Then I started moving on to the tail lights. I cut it with a hole saw so I can save that piece, and then these lights will go in here like that. Problem is I don't have a piece for this, so what I did was I just took a big washer and machined a place for this fitting to go, this light socket. So but they mount in good, and actually look pretty good. I think that glue is dry enough to move this. We'll see. So anyway, here's our little light. Got a machine place for the bulb to go in. Pretty straight. Now all I gotta do is drill that one, like that. I got another one machined and glued here. I'm just use those vice grips on top of it until it dries. I'll cut the hole and put that one in, and then I got one more emblem, an Oldsmobile transmission emblem that goes on, and then I'll put some gas in it and try to get this thing started today. Yeah, I got the lights mounted. Put that hydromatic drive thing on there. It don't look so good there. Plus I got a tail light hanging down off of their license plate frame. So I'm going to put it up there a little higher and cover this hole. But the lights went in. I didn't break any of the little studs. Now I'm sort of trying to figure out what I'm going to do here with my little fuel pump. I'm just going to temporarily hook it up. Try to get some gas running through it. And see if I can start it. Well, here's our little fuel pump hooked up. Since I got wires back there, I just ran it to the brake. Works. Tail light. Tighten up my spark plugs. Both accelerator pumps are working. Should start. Try to start this thing here. Hooked up the fuel pump. I got gas in it. Timing is more or less right. Tighten down the spark plugs. I'm not even going to turn on the fuel pump. And not hitting a lick. Well, it didn't hit a lick, so I'm just checking here, make sure I got power. Power to the coil. Points are hooked up. This next thing to see if it's sparking. Not sparking at all. So
smells gas though.
somehow shorted out something. I don't have a ground on the coil. This coil's bad. It did work before.
Still coming?
Yeah, not sparking at all.
I was sparking before, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's see, I don't have a ground here. It's not firing at all. And I got the coil. What happened, that coil wasn't working. I did look like it's getting some kind of spark. I might have had two bad coils. This one here might not be any good either. Anyway, it looks like it's kind of sparking now. Let's see if it'll kick. It's not firing at all. Needs a new coil.
Ta-da-da-da. Oh, what's the bottom one for? Turn signal? What's the small bottom? Just reflect?
It's a reflector.
Oh. Looking good. Yay.
Well, it ain't firing a lick. So anyway, it was firing the other day, but I was running that coil without a ballast resistor. Probably not the best thing to do, but I did. And this coil down here, I thought it was a good one, but it's not. Neither one of them are firing. The primary shows good, but they're not sparking. This one's sparking enough to shock you, but not enough to start anything. So my attempt to fire it up ended with bad coil. But it got the fuel tank in, and tail lights. I'm at the point now where once it starts, I can just start mounting this stuff. This fuel pump here, I don't know what I'll do with it. I thought this was the fuel inlet, but this is a rollover valve here. This is actually the one that's got the fuel in it. This thing could turn around. I might have that tank in backwards. I think I'd rather have the fill side on this side over here. It don't really make any difference. A couple inches. It'll just move that from way back here in the back to the front if I rotate it around. Anyway, end of another day here. Got a lot done. I was kind of hoping it would start. But no cigar. You get a coil and should be able to start it tomorrow.